so glad to have you here today and to talk about being a wild woman and authentic. Yes, being an authentic wild woman, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited. This is very exciting. Um, just I remember our initial interactions and they were very energetic and positive and just happy, right? And that's just ooey gooey beautifulness, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think we connected. I mean, I can't remember what we chatted exactly, but I remember that we felt the pulse between both of us, and
Yeah.
like yeah, we need to do something, and finally we're doing it with a couple of reschedules from my end, but that's okay. We're embracing the chaos.
Well, that's part of the journey, right? Into authenticity.
Mm.
Like we were just saying, yeah, like mm, for me, it started as I don't even know if I would label it as like, oh, I want to be more authentic. It was just like this desire within to just literally be authentic without like, I didn't even feel the name right away. It was just like, I want to lead without the mask and see what happens, the thing, right? Is that how it manifested in you, or was it a little different?
I would say like again, I can't really pinpoint one time where it's like, oh, I woke up one day and oh yeah, I want to be authentic. I think it was a journey, and as we
Yeah.
just talked about the recording, authenticity is the journey. But for me, it coincided with having like a life shake-up moment and
Mm.
like spiritual awakening kind of moment where you kind of like I got my whole like value system shaken up. And to me, being authentic also has a lot to do with values. And I started questioning, so, okay, which values I'm standing up for and which ones I'm not? And am I leading from the authentic heart or not? So I feel like that was my first interaction with authenticity and what it is and how to go about it.
Oh, yeah. I love that leading with the heart
Hmm.
because that's essentially the core of it, right? That's what you're doing.
Yeah, it coincides with me. Like I'm a Leo according to astrology, so I feel like Leos are very much like the sun, and it really I feel like for me it's just like lead from the heart, from the sun, from within, and like this is how you lead the authentic life. It comes from there. That's my take on it, and that's my yeah, that's my take on it.
Well, manifest is like a desire to just be seen that way. And when I think back, yeah, it's been a long journey. And there was times where I was like before my spiritual awakening, just leaving organized religion was a way for me to show authenticity, right?
Yeah, it's you being
Um,
you.
yeah, I was an atheist at the time, but I was still being me. Like that doesn't change that part. But there were other things I was still withholding and it's just like ooh, like an onion, like Shrek, like you just peeling the layers. And now, I don't know, I had my spiritual awakening like 2018. So, goodness, that's what, 7 years now? So, like, yeah, since then, it's, yeah, just been even more of this onion unfolding. And yeah, like we talked about off camera, like this year was like,
One thing.
just right, like master class, crash course type of thing. Like, let's get you up to speed, Joy. We're gonna like throw you in the blender and just that's kind of what it felt like. You
I know what you mean. This is how I feel now. It's like or like the way I feel like in the roller coaster ride where it's like you're going up and down, you don't even know what's around the corner.
Oh, yeah. No, exactly. Well, and that creates surrender to the unknown,
Yes.
right? Because you don't know what's coming around the corner. And that in authenticity, to be authentic in that is just naming it, owning it, and then like embracing that, right? And just like, I don't know what's going on, guys. We're gonna We're gonna see.
Yeah, the way I would say it is to, like, being authentic means that you are stripping away, as you said really beautifully, the onion layers of your conditioning and trying to understand. So, like for example, if you always been a perfectionist, right? And then there comes a day where you ask, am I actually a perfectionist? Or have I been conditioned to be perfectionist because this is the only way I got recognition and love? And then so your path to authenticity comes then from, okay, so, if I'm living my life authentically, am I a perfectionist? Is this something that I'm proud of, I value, or it's a mask and I need to strip it off? That's my take on it.
Do you think the wild woman aspect just comes about um as your onion is kind of removing layers? Like you finally get to the wild woman layer, or do you think it's like within all of it?
So, I definitely feel like there's a wild woman in every single one. Oh, I just thought that someone messaged something.
Yeah, and seen it too. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
from the heart. Mhm. Yeah, thank you for that. Going back to your question, I believe that every woman inside. I'm just speaking purely from the woman perspective because I coach women, so that's my all of my expertise is coming from. I think that every one of us has the wild woman within.
Mm.
Uh, I think that, but for every single one of us, it will be a different kind of wild. So for one,
Mm.
because again, authenticity. So like for example, for someone, being wild means that um I don't know, you are living off the grid, you're like having like a nomad style lifestyle and everything, right? For someone it could be living like, white picket fence family, being like a homemaker, but they feel so content, they feel like the wild mama bear, like, protecting the den and, the cubs and your loved ones. So again, leading back to the authenticity, like for some, like finding your wild and finding authentically who you are authentically, sorry, this is going to be that. So just finding what attracts you and what your wild is, because for someone, maybe like for example, maybe your the best holiday that you could ever have is going hiking, and this is finding your wild, right? And like you love hiking, you love everything to do with nature. But then for someone it could be going to like a five-star resort hotel, laying on the beach, reading a book and do nothing, and that's your wild, like you're being a lizard. And that's yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love that you said we have our the wild is different. I mean, because I feel like, especially when you're on beginning that journey, you might feel pressured in your
That
own way to mimic other women who you aspire to be, right? Or like, oh, I wish I was expressing myself the way she does, or like, it's so cool how bold she can say that. I wish I want to be like that.
yeah.
But it's really self discovery.
Yeah.
Um, and that's where the authentic part comes in. Like, well, what's actually true for me? Maybe it's not being on a live,
Yeah.
with half wet hair and and doing stuff, right? Yeah. Um, well, that's to me, it also points to self love because as you discover it, I mean, you love and cherish that about yourself, and you're like, oh, I want to honor this. This is my kind of wild. Like, I'm a sci-fi geek. That's part of my wildness. I love weird, complicated stories. I love things that, out in the mystical dimensions, dabble in the science stuff and the myth, I'm like all over the fucking place with that.
Yeah.
That's part of my wild, right? I don't know shit about herbs. I'm not really
Yeah.
into herbs, right? That's not
That's not
me.
your fault. Yeah, but your wife is being, yeah, you loving your thing and being unapologetically happy about it and owning it, and that's your authentic wild.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. And well, it brings joy. No pun intended, but like you just have joy within when you discover it and you're like, oh, I want to like express this more and you feel that energy and that sacral creative energy starts building and you just want to express and create from that place, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree. That's why I feel like it coincides with, again, peeling the layers of the conditioning. I mean, I talk a lot about it on my Instagram and my Substack. Well, before I took a little bit of a break because of life. Because again, when you take all of the layers off, then you start feeling liberated. You start feeling more alive, more full of excitement, and then you can find your authenticity from there. And as long as you're not trying to prove anything to anyone, as long as you're doing for the good intentions and for pure intentions, again, that's finding your authenticity, finding
Yeah.
your why.
Well, I think the next part is you discover that within, but then like having to share it, right? Or it kind of brings up fears and doubts and just how you deal with those of being seen of, I don't give a fuck anymore what people think and put in that kind of energy um bit by bit, right? It's to me it wasn't like a light switch or anything.
Yeah,
The desire was there, but so was the fears. And it was just kind of like this gradual I don't know if battle is the right word, but like almost like tug of war in a way of like just letting those fears go one by one as I keep doing it. I'm like, no, I can say this and I actually feel okay in my body and it feels good to, talk this way now or show up in this way or oh, I went out of my comfort zone and I took that risk. But even though it failed, I
yeah,
still learned that because that's gonna happen, right? Doesn't mean just because 'cause you're going in and you're doing all this doesn't mean everything you produce from it is gonna blossom into some a big ass thing, but that's the exploration and giving yourself the freedom to make mistakes with it and be messy is a word I use a lot. Like, you're allowed to be messy as you're uncovering this. It's that inner work that it's wild, right? And it's tapping into parts of yourself that you may have never let yourself even view whole in a whole way, right?
yeah. I love everything you said. Exactly. I feel like, again, we've been conditioned that we can't be messy. Or at least what I've seen on social media, and I've heard other people talk about it, that even this whole spiritual awakening, finding your purpose, essence, authenticity, has to be pretty and it has to be very
Mhm.
sexy. And it's not. Finding your authenticity can be nerve-wracking. It can be hard. It can be crying a lot. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can pick yourself up that because like, oh, you wanted to like stand up for yourself in a meeting or something, but you couldn't because you were so like in a shell. So we need to embrace the messiness and like what I teach about being the wild woman, right? The wild woman she's not perfect. She doesn't wake up one day and think, okay, right, I'm a wild woman, I'm perfect, I'm wild, and that's it. Like, no. One day you're very messy and you're crying, you're figuring it out, you're trying to understand the life lessons, life meanings. And then the next day you're like, oh, okay, well, I let myself feel, I let myself grieve. And then we also need to talk about the grief of authenticity as well. And the next day you're like a bit more compassionate toward yourself. And you're thinking, okay, like actually I can do this and I can go take this on. So I feel like as we talked about, it's a journey. Everything come back to the same thing, that being authentic and living your life authentically is a journey. It's not like a to-do list task.
Right. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's not a to do. It might feel like that in a few moments if you're pushing a boundary or something for yourself.
Yeah.
Not a boundary, but like a threshold is a better word.
Yes. I love that word.
Yeah, more than boundary for yourself in that regard. Let's go to the grief thing. Expand more into that. That sounds juicy. I want to go dig in that.
So I mean, I'm like, what I wanted to say is that I don't think, or at least I haven't seen talked a lot about when you are peeling those layers of the onion and you are finding your authenticity, you're finding your authentic self, we need to grieve the old identity. We need to give ourselves time to grieve that this, our previous version of ourselves, got us this far, right? We survived because we had the previous identity. And now we're coming into something different and beautiful. And I feel like it's not talked a lot. So I really wanted to bring that.
No. Yes, I'm so glad because that's totally a real thing. I've totally experienced it. Especially like when I know I'm getting ready to like do a ritual, I can feel it coming, right?
Yes,
This I call it a phoenix moment, this death and rebirth. And I will literally like spend half a day, sometimes a whole day before I go into that space, like crying and lamenting and like I'm gonna die. This me right here is
dying.
not gonna be the same woman at the other side, and just crying it out and, like because when you love yourself, even though you love yourself enough to do the phoenix moment, right?
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean you don't wanna honor, just like you said, the one who got you to that point, right? The one who's actually gonna take the step to cross that threshold. I
yeah,
mean, goddamn, so fucking brave, right, to do that, and that's
yeah. For that.
you in that moment, and to just honor that and, like, it's no, I'll spend hours just, like, crying and, like, processing, and it like you said, it's messy, and there's snot, there's, like, it's not really beautiful aesthetically, but then it's also one of the most beautiful things, right? Even though it's this grieving. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to let go of everything. And I love the fact that you are embracing that and you're doing it because I struggle with it personally. I do, like, even though I am talking about these things, right, and teaching other women, I always say that, I'm not perfect. If I'm teaching, that doesn't mean that I am
Yeah.
on a pedestal. But like I still really struggle because I really struggle with letting go and letting go of that identity, right? Where for many years when you thought, "Oh, okay, oh, I'm this person or I'm this person or my values are these. When you start to let go of them, or when you come to the moment when you think, actually, I really need to let this go, it's difficult. Like yeah, for me, what helps is I do a lot of burning rituals. I do like
Mm.
to play with fire a lot. Like I do love physical fire, and I do a lot of rituals with fire. So that helps me, and I'm hoping that it will help the listeners as well. Just if you want to let things go, or if you want to understand kind of who you are behind all the layers, doing like just writing things on a piece of paper, what you want to let go, odd values, identities, anything that you want to let go, and then just burn that paper. Obviously, do it safely, and preferably outside in a bowl. Um, but it should really help you like feel that relief of like,
Mm.
okay, like I let it go, and then you
Oh,
can
yes.
rebuild. Then, as you said, like from the ashes, like the phoenix, you can rebuild your own flower, your own wild woman.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm all about the fucking fire, man. Like, that's it's everywhere on my shit because it's just it's such a rich symbol, right? Oh my god, I could just sink my teeth into it. It's so fucking rich. I've totally done those fire rituals. And do you have to do it? No, but it's giving you an outward way to show that inner alchemy, right? That's what all to me, that's what rituals are. They're not a necessity, but they are a tool, right? A modality you can use to like literally make it 3D in a way. You know, you're writing it down, you're watching it burn, not just visualize it. You smell, the smoke. You see it, you feel the heat. You're having this visceral moment with it, and you know what you wrote down, right? And you see it, and then you feel, oh my god. There's a reason us women typically do all this shit. And I'm sure maybe to other people that haven't learned, it might look silly, but once again, we don't give a fuck because we know what we're doing and it's just so helpful. So then it becomes it literally becomes a ceremony, right?
Yeah, it's your initiation ceremony then to find your authentic self, to find your authentic wild. And
Mm.
like you don't have to work with fire because some people are more drawn to water. So like I've done like release rituals like into water. So what you can like the simplest thing you can do is you can take a leaf, any kind of leaf from a plant or from a tree, and write it down on the leaf of what you want to release and then drop it in the river or the ocean, whatever you have near you. And like that's working with the water element. So whatever whatever you feel drawn to. For some people it could be water, for some people it could be fire. And then, this is how you again strip all the layers as we've talked about many times today. And then you find your authenticness. And
Well,
then
yeah, that's part of it. Which element speaks to you more, right? I didn't discover fire this until this year. I mean, obviously I knew about fire, but just embracing it at the level I have came this year. Like I said, I've been on this journey like 7 years or so, right? So that was just a layer on peel. Like, oh, we fucking love fire. Okay, like, let's just roll with it. I in the past, I don't think I ever would have said I'm a fire person, and that wasn't.
you'll think,
Um, I just hadn't uncovered that about myself yet, and now it's like, no, that's totally me. I know I'm nice and sweet, but no, there's fucking fire in here, everybody, right? Like, yeah.
yeah, it's like, I mean, again, like all of us have that wild side to us that
Mm.
we can be sweet and loving 1 minute and then like feral the next. And that's the beauty of the wild woman. Like being authentic wild woman, meaning that you are owning the emotions that you have right now. And if you want to like burn the whole thing down, that's fine. Like,
Well, I've totally done that. I've totally done that. I'm not a crypto, not literally. Well, as in my reality, but not like physically burning. That's not what I'm
but yeah, we're not doing, no, no, we're not doing that. We
doing.
metaphorically burning everything down.
Yes, yeah. No arson, no nothing in here, right?
We're not encouraging that.
No.
And then it then becomes the process then of rebuilding yourself. So,
Mm.
you kind of released your identity, um you grieved about it, which again give yourself enough time to grieve, to just be with whatever kind of emotions you're going through. And then it becomes another journey of okay, well, I released my old self. Now it's time to rebuild a new authenticity. Now it's time to rebuild a new me. And then I feel like you just literally step into like a temple almost.
Mm.
Of like, okay, so like who am I? Like I can be whoever I want to be and I can, love or hate whatever I want to. Like I'm just being me. Like I'm being that sovereign queen, like, sovereign wild woman. And she's, who's a wild woman. She's choosing herself and she's taking care of herself and it just becomes a whole another journey. I feel like, till the day we die, I don't think that we ever
Yeah,
stop.
no, it doesn't stop. No, I don't think it stops.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if there was an end point to this. I don't think there is.
Ever. And then like you will have like life events happen, right? Because a lot of people go through different stages, when we get our first period, when we get married, when, we give birth to children if we want to. And it's like it's gonna be like a whole different like I wanted to say a chapter of a book, but it could be a whole different book.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I know I've lived lifetimes within my life, right? Where it
Yeah.
just everything just reorients and changes. Everything is different. The only thing I'm still on Earth. That's the only thing that's the same. And I'm still in the story, right? But I'm as we're talking, I'm thinking about we're using this term wild woman a lot, and I'm like, what's the opposite? A tame woman? Or like, because I'm thinking of like animals, right? Wild, a wild horse versus a one in
Domestic
a
animals.
domesticated. There you go. Oh, that's the word I was looking for. Domesticated. Yeah. So I
Yep.
think a lot of us grew up domesticated, right? Like we were conditioned, we were from society, from our mothers, from, all of it. And it's this deconditioning of it all. which I think men and women both go through, but
Yeah, cool.
to uncover that wild woman, I mean, you gotta really it's she's
Yep.
in there. She's
Well,
gotta really dig. Yeah.
yeah, I would say that like, like wild and like caged woman or like or the domesticated one. And I mean, it's funny because I actually released a journaling book called Untamed because that I just wanted like women to go through the journaling prompts and feel that like liberation and like being open almost. So I love the word untamed. Everything like tamed and untamed. It's like
Yeah.
the-
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about you. I can remember when I was tame, right?
yeah, do.
I can still remember those days. And I felt very small. And I'm almost
I
6 feet tall. Like I'm not a small person. But I'm not talking about physically, right? I'm talking about just
emotionally small,
yeah,
spiritually small. Yeah.
yeah, just capped or like caged. That's
Yeah.
most
Yeah. Yeah.
caged and not even realizing why. It was like it was built before I even could understand why it was needed, right? Because I mean, I have a 2-year-old daughter. She's fucking wild, right? She's 2. She don't give a shit about nothing. She does what she wants. It is gorgeous to watch. Also a little scary sometimes. But I'm just like, you go, girl. Like, I don't want to squash that in her, right? Obviously, there are, well, you need to be safe about this. Like, no, we're really not going to touch that, right? But, and I don't know, it just makes me reflect on myself. Like, at some point, you don't even, the cage is being built, right? And our childhood,
Yeah.
essentially, and we don't even know that it's happening, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one point I wanted to make is that I don't know if you heard or the reader listeners read a book called Untamed by Glennon Doyle. It's amazing book who wants to read another woman's story of liberation. And literally one of the first, I think it was the first chapter or like the introduction chapter, she's talking about this animal, which I can't remember now. Was it a cheetah or something like from the big cat family? And it was trapped in a cage or like in a cage. And like, the woman was saying like how we feel caged with the conditioning that we're supposed, you're supposed to be in a 9 to 5, you're supposed to be married, you're supposed to have kids, you're supposed to do this. And we just feel like we've been put in a cage and like this whole wild woman movement, it's like, no, we want to be liberated and we want to smash those cages. We want to feel alive doing this. And I feel like, it's a bit of a healthy rebellion against the systems.
Oh, a zillion percent. I guess
Yeah.
I view the feminine energy kind of like the wind. Like it doesn't quite have a shape to me the way the masculine does. Um, but it does. I don't know if that makes sense. Like it's
Yeah, I feel like it's ever changing and it's like ever morphing into something.
yeah. Well, and you can just flow with it and you go like one because of our cycles and our hormones, right? Like we're a different person every week in a way with what's moving through our body and just our intuition, right? Like, I'm going to listen to my body today. I'm going to rest, right?
Yeah,
Even though I have these things to do, I'm going to make this choice to honor my body and myself. Um, and not be guilty about it. Not, like that's me being authentic. Like, no, I'm in fucking pain. I'm gonna acknowledge that and we're gonna get the hitting pad, we're gonna get some chocolate, and we're gonna put on a movie. Like,
that's
whatever
being
it looks yeah,
you.
that's
Yeah,
being authentic. Yeah. But also and then in the other phase, you want to get everything done, right? You want to create, you want to beautify things. And it's just flowing with that. I guess that's where the wind comes in, where it's just like you just move with it. So when we're saying cage, especially if they're a man listening, trying to understand women, it's like if we don't feel like we can do that flow and be authentic in that flow, like, oh, I can't call in sick because I work this job and my boss is a man and he doesn't understand that I'm in pain that he probably can't even handle, right? Um, that's where we're talking about. Or for me, that's just one little example, but, of this societal cage that you try to eventually you're just like, "Fuck it, I don't this isn't fun. It's not fun. I'm not
Yeah,
having fun with life, and there has to be more because this cage fucking sucks."
I agree because I also feel like there comes a point in your life where you realize that the new authenticity is knocking at your door, and it's up to you whether you're answering or not. And from my experience, it was whispering to me, but I was ignoring it. And then it was screaming at me, and I still chose to ignore it. And then it was like full on like red sirens saying you're not living authentically, like you're living someone else's life, not yours. And then it made me like cry on the floor like so many times till I actually answered the authenticity call. And I really hope that people listening they can get the whispers earlier than I did. And another thing as well, like I'm reading this book. A friend recommended it to me. It's called Dancing the Dream,
Ooh.
and it's about the seven sacred paths of human transformation. And it's talking about like I just finished the first initiation, and it's talking about like how you need to accept the fact that you will go through like when you accept. I'm just trying to make sense how to say it. There will come a time and point in your life where you will realize that the new version of you is either screaming at you that you need to listen to me and act differently, or you like either you're gonna answer or you're not gonna answer.
Mm.
Makes sense. Sorry, I feel like I lost my train of thought what I was going to say
No,
originally, but
I'm following you, I'm following you.
Mhm.
No, I feel
Yeah,
like that's why I said I've changed had many lives because I'll have those moments,
yes,
and it's just like, this is probably his dream life, not mine, right? And I'm just kind of hitched onto that, and, um, and and then, yeah, I've ignored it more in my younger years. I would ignore it, just like you said, and it just keeps knocking louder and louder until you're like, "Fuck, I have to do something. I have, I'm too miserable, or I'm too. I just don't want to live this way anymore." To me, the fire got that spark in you, right? That's where it's coming out. Where it's like, hey, pay attention over here, right?
to me it was like mixture of fire, like that's like something in me, and also the howling of the wolf. But I imagine like when I was going through my darkest time last year, I was feeling that I just want to like howl and scream
Mhm,
from pain of like I'm not living authentically. I'm not living from my heart. I'm not living from what I want from life or from, from everything. And for those of you who are watching and watching the replay and everything, so like I've got these questions from other people before. So if it's so difficult, and if it's like if this new version of you is screaming at you, why are you not acting on it right away? Well, it's not that easy. Sometimes you're stuck in situations where you can't escape, or where you need to have like a plan of action, how you're gonna leave. And it's like, if you, especially if you have like people depending on you, or pets that depending on you, or like, or family depending on you, and you like want to change their life completely, you can't just blink and say, oh, I'm just going. Not everyone is privileged in like this much to be like, right, okay, I'm leaving. So it's like finding that gratitude towards yourself of like, okay, I'm trying to answer this call of authenticity, or like the knock of authenticity, but I'm also like trying to be, like thoughtful and logical about how to go that authentic way, how to find that authenticity.
well, for me, in my first and second marriage, it was, about safety. I had gotten myself in unsafe situations, and I did need a plan to
Yeah,
leave,
you
right? I didn't have any kids, but, I mean, it was like he would beat me up over "let me leave" type of thing, right? Like, it was that scary, right? So it was, I mean, people go through all sorts of shit, right? And, yeah, you can get help, obviously, you get as much help as you can. That was something I was struggling with a lot. Myself is oh, there's just a lot of going on with that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it can have a variety of shapes on when it's calling to you, right? Like that for me in those younger years, like in my 20s, in those relationships, it was like, I don't want to be treated this way. This is not how I need to be treated. And even if I don't, I need to get out of this situation, even though like he has all the money or, like there's different scary, they're scary. But
Yes.
to me, it's an act of love. It's like, do I love myself enough to try, to at least try to make a plan, to try to form a way to escape and get to safety and or to live authentically, right? I mean, I'm trying to go back to like maybe not so dramatic times where it's not that dramatic, but it does take courage, like Monica just said. Uh,
Right.
it's bravery, right? Because you're still scared, but you have that enough self love, which to me, fire also represents love, and like to just do it anyway. Like, you know what? I
You know,
love myself enough to not stay in this situation, and I'm gonna take some type of action towards changing that.
yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you were saying. And I wrote an article on Substack a while back about the dormant wild woman and like active wild woman. And what I was saying in there that the dormant wild woman kind of she wants to change, right? She wants to find her wild, she wants to live wildly, but she's not taking that action. She's scared, right? And she's like, oh well, what if, and all those questions, right? So she's like, she has that fire, that spark, but she's not acting on it. But the wild woman, right? We can be scared, right? We are scared, right? The fact that you're wild doesn't mean that you are fearless. So yeah, but the wild woman, right? She is scared, but she's channeling that scaredness. She's alchemizing that scared feeling into owning it.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. That was gorgeous. That was fucking gorgeous. That was
Like,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that alchemizing it. Yeah. You're not scared of your own fear, right? Once you've done it a few times, in that aspect, it gets easier. You still feel it the same intensity, but at that point what's on the other side is gonna be better. So even though you're feeling that fear or the doubt or whatever's trying to pass, memories, whatever's being brought up from this change into a more authentic, wild self, it's worth it. The mystery, you might not know exactly what it's gonna look like, but you can start to feel it energetically, right? And you can
Oh, I feel like like what's coming through me now is that you just have that inner knowing. Because when you take the leaps and when you do something that you're scared of, right? Finding like being authentic or like speaking up, right? Speaking for your values, for what you stand for. It's scary, but you know inside that you have to do it. It's like that inner knowing from the heart, from the soul, that this is the way. This is the way forward and this is the wild woman's way. Like you just need to stand up for what you are, for who you are, for your values, for everything.
oh, yeah, yeah. How do you feel now? I mean, I know we said it's always a journey, but, like, obviously right now we're at the furthest we've been in our journeys, right? At least I'm assuming. I know for me. How does it feel now to be at this level or, at this not at the beginning, right? But
That's a
on
really
this level.
that's a really good question. So I feel proud of myself where how far I've come, but I also feel like I can't believe how many scary things I've done to get this far because I don't understand how I had so much courage to do those things. So
Yeah.
like parts of me are very like, whoa, I've done so many hard decisions, right? But then like another part of my initiation right now, which I've been going through, is asking like I've done a lot of rituals and I believe in like spirit guides talking to me, right? So
Mm.
like whoever's listening, and if you're not into it, then just bear with me. And they've been telling me that my next kind of step forwards and initiation is softness, right? Softness and like being wild, but still being soft. And I feel like
Mm.
even though what I just said to you, that I've gone through so much and I'm proud of it, the next step for me is to soften. And the life has been throwing me every possible lesson, curveball, roller coaster ride, confetti flavored things. Oh, you said you felt that you need to be soft. Let's test it out. So that saying, I feel like finding like I don't know, my answer is long-winded, but I'm proud, but at the same time, I'm still going through really the gist and the depths of it, and it's really hard.
Mm.
So that's kind of I would say that like as we talked about, it's a journey. So almost like when you're climbing like a mountain or a hill, right? So like you will go through some like you know how you're climbing a mountain, you will have some like nice scenic views like along the way, but you're not at the top yet, kind of thing. So that's been kind of my answer to you. And what about you? Because I'm really curious.
Oh, well, the softening, yeah, I'm feeling that too. Um, I gotta let me think for a second because this is
One thing, but you kept going ups and downs. Yeah.
oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's it's totally
Now it's been like down and down and down and down, and I'm like, "Ah,
like, "Oh, we're done now. We're right."
but we're going through it. We're going
Yeah, we are
through
going through it.
it."
No, I'm in what I call like a tower moment myself, or a rock bottom, you could say,
Yeah.
where there's just everything's having to be rebuilt, right? So it's
Yeah.
having right now it's like having a lot of compassion for myself, um, staying open to all avenues of opportunity and not, but also being like I know I want a job, but it's like, but I don't want that, like what do I actually want? I want freedom of my time. I want to work. If I work for somebody else, I want the business to maybe be a nonprofit or somebody who's doing so I'm focusing on that, but mainly I'm daily meeting myself with just compassion because it's like, um, yeah, I'm 41 and it's like, oh man, I can judge myself, right? Like, oh my God, do I still not have my shit figured out? Like, come on, Joy, goddamn. I'm like, no, no, we're not gonna talk to ourselves that way. That's not very nice. We've been through some fucking shit. Let's just like,
Like
you know? And like,
hugging
this is
our
okay. It's okay. Yeah, yeah, given the hugs and stuff, right? It's like, oh yeah, Monica's right. We are totally our own worst critics. Um, and releasing the shame or maybe around because it's like, did it fail? And it's like, let's reframe that. This wasn't I failed at something. It's I expanded beyond, right? And um now I have this blank slate. Ooh, what do I want to do with this blank slate? Right? That's one thing I love about rock bottoms or tower moments is they're that blank slate. And you can go.
yeah, yeah. It's like the calm day or the calm night after the big storm. It's like,
Mm.
oh, okay. Okay, like what else we can learn from that? Or like, okay, like it's
Well,
okay.
yeah, like if the storm destroyed your farm or your house or whatever, like, do you want to rebuild it the same way it was? Do you want it to look different? Were you wanting to expand anyway? And now this is just a bigger opportunity to do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's you can reframe it. That's another thing I'm learning to do. It's just going through old lenses or ways of like viewing things or beliefs and realizing that they're cloudy and they're full of like false beliefs. And it's like, oh fuck, like romance. And it was like, I think I need to like chuck that and like just make a new one because I think I had a lot of shit wrong on a lot of levels. And I'd rather just start from scratch in this new space and start learning from this perspective, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but
Exactly, it does. I feel like it's the same with masks, like,
hmm.
we're told again, it's coming back everything comes back to the authenticity. It's like, you've been told that you're this, or the other when you're growing up, right? So you had the masks, and you were living with those masks, and then there comes a point where you, like, rip them off like a Band-Aid, and you're trying to figure out who you are, and it's the same with the lenses, like, yeah, like, for me, it's like I had to reevaluate what the word success meant for me,
Mm.
because I was always fed this paradigm, or I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, that success is, earning six figures, being the boss babe, and, having the white picket fence and this and the other. And I realized that none of those things are success for me. Success for me is you just living authentically. You're living like a true wild woman, right? Leading from the heart. You have close circle of friends. You have, things that you care about and love for, and it's not materialistic. And to me, that was like a whole wake up call of like, oh, like like success, for example, can mean again many different things. And it's like if you're choosing to live authentically, so are you gonna start chasing the dream of becoming a CEO of the company? But if in reality, if you just want to have like I don't know a bookshop or like a flower shop, and you just want to do that,
Right?
like just follow what you want. That's living authentically.
Well, and then, yeah, it's giving your own definition to it,
Yeah.
like personalizing it for you. And then, then doing your evaluation. You're like, oh, no, I'm fucking successful. Like, I already am successful because I meet my own definition. Right. And then to me, you can feel when you slip out of that, if you do, right? You can, and then adjust, right? That's part of it
Yes. Yeah.
too, because
Exactly.
that to me, that's moving into more embodiment with all the things you're learning. You can feel where you're shifting and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that no more. No, just take it back. And then once you notice it, to me, that's ingraining it in you and you don't fall for it like you did before. Right?
Yes, yeah. And I also, when you were talking, I just remembered another thing that I want to point out as well. When we're talking about authenticity, right? We're talking about like it's a journey, and obviously you will change friends and your like group friends and like circle of friends, right? So when you will start stepping into your authentic self, your authentic version of yourself, I mean, I want to say don't feel scared, but be okay with the fact that your friends will change or your friends and family will start questioning you, and they will start asking for that fake, I would say fake authentic you, right, that they knew all the time. So just embrace the fact that it can be lonely sometimes, or that you need to make an executive decision to start looking for different environments for that new authentic self to open up. So like joining women's circles, or going to like yoga studios, or like whatever, like or finding like or going to a book club, or whatever you like, so that your new authentic self can actually start like flourishing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Monica made a good point. Have boundaries too. Yeah. I learned that. That was a crash course lesson this year for me on all the areas I did not have boundaries. And it was like mirror after mirror, lesson after lesson. I'm like, oh, no, I need a fucking boundary there.
And
Okay. And then I'd be like, okay, we got that boundary. And then another person would come into my life and be like, oh, no, I need a boundary over here too. I didn't realize I needed all these boundaries. But it felt like brick by brick because there
yeah,
was a lot. I didn't really have many boundaries. Um, I don't know where I'm going with this, but we'll see. That's like creating your own container for maybe that's your masculine, creating that
yeah, you have the
container
framework.
for your fucking winning, beautiful, feminine flow energy, right?
Yeah. The stuff that you're saying about the masculine energy, I agree, because the I've heard people say this many times, that when you're playing with masculine and feminine energies, let's imagine that the masculine energy is the river banks and the feminine energy is water that flows through. So like we do need those boundaries, right? Structure boundary, like boundaries to people, to situations. And then the feminine is like ever flowing. So like, if you're in your luteal phase, you're not gonna want to go to a party. So have the boundary saying, no, actually, I'm choosing to stay in with popcorn and hot water bottle. And that's your boundary.
I love that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be this big, overt, right? It literally can be that small, like, "No, I'm not going out this weekend. This is a comfy stay-at-home cozy weekend," right? And I'm honoring that about myself, and that those even those small little things, um, like, I'm trying to get back to a point you made where the people in our lives might not
Align with
even
that.
respect that, right? Like, "No, we always go out every weekend." Like, "What are you talking about? You're just staying in now," right? Like, "Just power through it. You know, I'll give you a my doll or whatever." And you're like, "No, I don't wanna do that this time. I'm trying something new. I'm gonna do this." You can either come sit with me and we'll watch this movie, or you can go out without, right? And like you said, yeah, being it's and grieving it if they do end up leaving, right? Because they're used to the you that didn't have that boundary, right? And
Exactly.
as you become more authentic and you said it, if they can't get from you what they were trying to get, and that's where they're at that time, then it's you gotta let it go and everything. And ooh, Monica's coming in here with the fun.
Yeah, I'm learning to say no without an explanation is not easy. Yes, I feel you. I
Oh yeah,
feel
that's a hard one.
yes,
But
that's
damn, does it feel good when you do it? Can we just acknowledge that?
I would say it feels really awkward and funny. I'm embracing the messy middle.
Well, I'm embracing the fucking fire of it because I'll be like, "Oh, I fucking nailed it. I fucking nailed it." And I will still have that feeling in me of like, I should just make it softer. Like I just need to like and I'm like, "No, you're not adding anything. We have told them what we needed to say. We are done. We are deleting this. We are, like." And then I'm like,
Feels strange. Yes, like for me it feels strange. Like one of the boundaries and the lesson I'm going through now. One of them is like um, honoring my health and honoring my like feelings. And I had to cancel a couple of meetings because just life. It was just like super stressful, right? I couldn't. If I would have gone to those meetings, I couldn't have been my 100% self, and I had to be
"Mm."
coach. So I had to send the messages saying, "Look, I'm so sorry, I have to cancel a meeting. Like I can't do it, right?" And oh my God, I felt so awkward, so weird, so funny. And I was like, I had a pep talk to myself. I was like, "You're a wild woman. Just come on, woman. Just like it's fine." And then I was like, "Okay, like it's fine." So I literally wrote like it was like, and I'm saying as well, don't make the message fluffy or anything. Don't over explain yourself. But I mean, be a nice human being. Like, don't
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
oh, f off. I don't want to do with you or anything. No, no, no. It's like, hi, sorry, I have to schedule the meeting. This and this happened. And 99% of the time, people will understand you, and they will get it because they will want the same feedback back. If something goes wrong in their lives and they will have to cancel on you, they will be like, "Oh, that's fine. Like I was supportive to her, she's gonna now be supportive to me." But the point of the story is like I'm struggling with what Monica was saying as well. Is like I have this conditioning of like you always have to be available, you always have to provide, and always be and push and push. And I'm trying to honor the softness that like if my life is falling apart currently, I physically cannot be in the meeting and concentrate and make important decisions in my business when I'm like full emotional. So I have to embrace that. So I'm with you, Monica.
Well, it's presence with yourself, with your craft, right? That's what I've been writing about a lot. That self-love and presence and just honoring that, taking it slower,
Yes.
right? Um, oh, I just had a question. I don't know if I remember it, but I'm gonna try to dig it out of my brain. Um, it was on something you said. Oh, do you think as women, obviously we're women, we're talking about women and shit. Um, there's this kind of wide cultural thing of us, yeah, having to be extra nice,
Yeah.
exclamation points on our texts and stuff, right? And just like extra cheery and like the fake smile and just that whole facade. Where like Monica was saying, where we just you want to soften it, right? Even if you're already being civil and nice,
Yeah.
there's this need to like just really make sure nobody ever could ever be offended by any remote minute thing you ever said ever.
I I I like it's the good girl conditioning. It's the good girl conditioning. It's the we've been conditioned that we have to be certain things. That again, it's like your fake authentic self, right? It's the you being fake. You're not like you were told to be nice, smiley, and taking care of everyone, and you then when you grow up, you're learning and you're understanding that actually that's not really me. Like I don't really want you to do a bake sale every Friday and feed everybody. Like no. So it's again like yeah, and like again being the wild woman. If we're talking from the wild woman's perspective, just follow your gut, follow your instinct of what is authentic to you. And yes, you could have had like 10, 20, 30 years of conditioning of doing the bake sale if you even though you hate cooking. But maybe this year is the time to embrace the wild woman who actually would rather go out to the park and nature and be in nature rather than spend 5 hours in the kitchen doing the bake sale if she doesn't want to do it. Like, the simplest example is like how can you honor that new version of yourself?
Well, yeah, and then when you do it, it just feels you feel the love. And you're like, why was I withholding this? For
Yeah.
for that?
Like
For
why?
that? Like, really? I don't have to bake. I can be the woman that brings the drinks. Right? Like, or, I
Yeah.
can buy some freaking soda pops and bring it to the school function. Like, I don't, yeah, if I'm not into spending all the time baking. And it's typically pretty easy like to just be like, actually, this year I want to bring the drinks.
Yes.
How many do we need? And then they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, we need blah, 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 blah." And they're like, "That was it? That was it? I changed my whole fucking life in this this one little conversation?" And you're just like, "Oh, okay." Uh, yeah, right?
I
It
know.
blows your mind, but it also expands your heart for your for love for yourself, and then it kinda gets addicting in a good way. I mean this in a good way, right? Where you're like, "Oh, no, I don't wanna act like that again. I remember how that like, I want that dopamine hit that I gave myself from being authentic like that."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're feeling liberated and happy.
Yeah. I'm reading Monica's comment right now.
Thank you for commenting, Monica. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Let's see, she said, "One thing is manners and courtesy, another is it is not our responsibility to make people think of us as agreeable." Ooh, that's some spicy deliciousness. Not
I
sure if I'm expressing this correctly, but yeah, we get it. We get it. I get
just
it.
it's isn't it? It's like this is what I'm saying. Like if you're like again, if you're playing with the boundaries of canceling the meetings when you're not well, like no one is telling you that you need to send a very nasty message. No, just explain what it is. 2 sentences. Like no one is. We're not encouraging being aggressive or rude or unkind. That's not the wild woman's way. We need to honor ourselves first and then serve others.
I think it's also giving yourself permission to take up space,
Yes, that's a big one. That's a good one.
right? For yourself, right? As in like not going to the meeting or whatever, right? Like just keep creating that container for yourself to have that space to do whatever you need to do. It it can be sometimes it's just within myself. I'll wake up and be like, I want to do this, this, and this today. And then something will hit me and I'll be crying and I'll be like, oh no, I need to process this emotion and this. I don't think I'm going to get to this, this, and this today. I'm canceling those plans on myself. And it's all within me, right? Like it doesn't even have to do with other people. It's just like, no, I'm switching gears. There's no reason I have to follow my first plan, right? That's the flow part, right? And almost giving yourself permission at first to do that because it does feel weird because we're conditioned like, no, I gotta produce, I gotta get well, I'm a Virgo, so maybe that's just me, but it's like, no, I gotta get this shit done. Like I wanna check it off. But yeah, that's being in the authentic flow, as I would say, and just being and honoring. Oh, it all is connected in such beautiful, delicious ways.
Yeah, it's like I love that. Yeah, it's just that flow, the flow of it, and like, again, I'm gonna bring it to the wild because my brand, right, the wild Medena. Medena is a Lithuanian goddess of the forest, and in many different literatures, like some literature is saying that she, like the goddess, is just a woman and roaming with different wild animals. Some literature is saying that she's morphing from one animal to another. So like one night she could be a wolf, the next she could be a rabbit, the next she can be a deer. And what it's saying that then she has all the wisdom because she's morphing, ever flowing, ever changing, collecting different wisdom and just going with the flow. So it's like maybe we can, embody and honor that wildness in us, that one day we can be like a very nurturing, soft mama bear, and we can be like
Mm.
cozy, very, nurturing, loving, having like a movie night with your kid and like baking cookies. But the next day we can wake up and be like full on feral wolf, like really angry wolf, and be like, no, we're gonna hit boundaries, we're gonna hit the to-do list, we're gonna claim the space. We're gonna just like show off who is crossing the boundary, right, of the tribe. And then the next evening you can be like, I don't know, like a really soft and seductive like a fox, like full of intuition and like that sass and that like inner wisdom. And again, that's like your authenticity. Like you don't have to be just one animal, just one era of you.
Well, I think as women, we feel our emotions in our body, right? We're very somatic beings. And so just when we are in that flow, like, oh, I love that she changed into different animals. Like, oh, it's like tingly good, right? Because that's just how it is, man. We're not even ADHD or something, right? It's just well, some of
Yeah.
us might be. I'm not, but I'm just saying like that's just how women are in our and when we're in that wild woman authentic thing, we really can change on a dime to people who basically men who don't have that, tapped in emotions. It can certainly look like, or women who aren't at that depth yet, right? Or haven't uncovered that part of their onion yet. It can look chaotic, but it's not chaotic as in like confusion, right? Um, it could be chaotic. I don't know where I'm going with this now, but like
I get it. I get
as
it.
in like rebirth and stuff like that kind of alchemy, chaotic, right?
Yeah, we love the chaos as we talked in the beginning of the live, which I mean, oh my God, we've been talking for an hour. The
Yeah, yeah, we've
conversation.
done a good job.
Yeah, it's like as we were talking, it's the messiness of becoming the authentic self, and the point of the story is that we need to embrace that.
Yeah. Well, is there anything we want to add or anything before we wind it down?
I would just say, everyone who's listening, just give yourself some grace,
Beautiful.
great love, and just literally hug yourself while listening or watching this, because you are going through a lot, whatever you're going through. And looking back, like when I talk with many women that, I coach and I do workshops and everything, when you ask them like what was the thing that you wanted to hear when you were going through any hard time, not everyone, sorry, everyone would say that they wish they were more gentle with themselves.
Mm,
Not every one of them said, oh, oh, I wish I pushed harder or blah blah blah. No, all of them were asking for the grace. Oh, I wish I was softer to myself. Oh, I wish I had more grace. So my summary, I think, is on the journey to being authentic, just be gentle with yourself. That's all you can do.
I love it. I love it because no, it's so true, right? So true. We've talked about that. Being our own worst critic and just we're not lazy. That's not the problem. Um, because we're just not linear. That's we're just not linear.
Yeah, like this, and we love that.
No, and it's so delicious to have it and to live that way, even when life is, messy. It's
Yeah.
pretty much always probably gonna be messy to some degree, so yeah. Oh, this was beautiful, it's so much fun. Thank you so much. This was lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, and thank you for everyone who's listening live and to everyone who's listening as a replay. Thank you, and thank you, Joy, for having me.
No problem.